Hello and welcome to Filmi Ladies. It's spooky season and Thamma has just come out, so we're going to talk about it with spoilers. You've been warned. Get out of here if you care about being spoiled for this movie. It only came out a few days ago, so we understand you may not have seen it yet, but we managed to somehow.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. It's the Maddox Horror Universe. I might be reaching fatigue. How about you?
Yes. Um,
I did not
I
expect that because Pitu is our horror lover. So I thought
I
she'd be like,
know.
"Ooh."
My favorite things in cinema are literally horror and doomed love stories.
Oh,
So I am
ooh.
a big fan of Maddock, and but I feel like we've seen this is what their fifth one, and I feel like with every movie I enjoy a little bit less. So their very first one was three, which I loved. I thought it was awesome. Then they came out with Bhedia, which I also liked very much. Then they came out with Munja, which I liked, but a little bit less. Then they did three too, which I did not enjoy as much as three, the first one or Bhedia, but I was like, but it's still fine. And now they've come out with Thamma, and I like it the least of all. So it's like with every film that Maddock comes out in their horror universe, I'm a little more disappointed and a little less entertained. So now I'm worried about whatever their next movie is going to be. Like, how bad is that one going to be? Right. So definitely fatigued. But it wasn't all bad, but also it wasn't like all good either. I would rather just rewatch Bhedia, honestly. So what were your thoughts? Firstly, what were your thoughts going in, or what are your thoughts in general about the Maddock horror
So
stable?
my thoughts going in were, oh yeah, I didn't even remember this was coming out until Pitu reminded me. And not only was it playing in my town, it was playing in both cinemas in my town. So I had plethora of options. I took the beloved Ponyan Selvan friend with me. So I
Ah,
had someone to go with me, which was fun. The theater was not crowded. There were only like five other people. And I do wish there'd been a fuller audience because
mm,
the audience reaction is always very enjoyable to me. Yeah, my thoughts going in were I was trying to decide what order I would put the Matic horror films in. I think I enjoyed Street 2 more than Mungia,
mhm,
but also if you go back and listen to our episodes about that, I may have said something different because I don't remember. They have all roughly, except for Street 2 and Bedia. Okay, so half of them have remained with me. The other Street
mm,
1 has kind of faded for me, but I think that's only because of Street 2.
yeah.
And then Mungia, I watched at home, so I think the cinema experience helped with the other ones. But Alphabetia, I saw at home too. I don't know, you
Oh,
guys. I don't know. Um, this, yeah, this to me was, it definitely had moments I really enjoyed. And I will tell you that my very favorite mo scene was the first one with Alexander the Great in it.
oh
And for the
yeah.
rest of the film, I was wanting the history angle to come back because I thought that was extremely clever to have these, Indian spirits who protect people, and they seem to
Mhm.
specifically protect India from outsiders. That's what a great mythology that is to either whether they made it up or whether it's drawn from something, I don't even know. It's fantastic. So I wish they had played that up more because it was such a good idea, I thought, but maybe we'll
Mhm.
return to it in the inevitable 8 million sequels to this or whatever. But I just I laughed. I was a little upset at times. I was upset for characters. Like Ayushman is someone I like, but I kind of wasn't fully convinced of him. And
Mhm.
when Varun shows up, I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Um, I thought my favorite was actually Paresh Rawal in the cast. I thought he was really enjoyable as the dad
Okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I think it was kind of the voice modulation and micro expressions and stuff. Again, he knows what he's doing. He's a
Yeah.
very veteran actor, right? So, um, I loved the interior of the houses. I thought those were
Mhm.
their kind of deli houses with all their lovely framed pictures and old furniture and stuff. I liked that. Um, the kind of gang rape social commentary was fine. I feel like they maybe could have done a little more with that, but that's one moment I was really missing the audience. I wondered if that would have hit home.
Hmm.
That would have gotten because our audience didn't do anything, but I liked her getting to attack the attackers
Mhm.
in that setting in particular. But kind of by the time they're weaving it into the other Maddox films, I was like, okay, I don't know. And Nawaz, I thought was completely wasted and was
Mm.
so cartoony, not in a way that was working for me. And I was surprised by that. I thought I would
Yeah.
enjoy him, and I did not.
Mm. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. Like I think my takeaway from this movie was that it didn't feel like all the ingredients had been mixed in together.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you're making a cake, for the cake to be really delicious, you need to make sure that your flour and your eggs and your sugar and your flavors are all in proportion. And I feel like with this one, there was some wonkiness, right? So there were things that were well done, and then there were other things that just felt a little bit like half baked. Haha, I continue with my pun.
Do
Um,
you think that's because of how, like, right before interval, there's a critical event that happens? Do you think it's because of that sort of before and after divide that
no,
it felt? Okay.
to me it felt more like they were just trying to shoehorn like other Maddox stuff in there. Like, did I
Yeah.
enjoy Bhedia coming? Yes, I love Bhedia, I love Arundavan, he's adorable. I enjoy seeing Abhishek Banerjee, right? Like, I like that.
Yeah.
But were they necessary for this story? I don't think they were. You could have gotten rid of that entire part and it would have saved us 15 minutes that we could have spent maybe like exploring other aspects of the story, right? So there were things that were enjoyable and then they just went away. Like you said at the beginning. So when the Alexander thing happened, by the way, the actor who played Alexander, I enjoyed him. I thought he was very good. Is
Yeah.
he Prithviraj? No, he isn't. But I may or may not have whispered to myself, Jupiter ki shubhkamnaएं.
An
So
actual white guy who does
yeah.
pop up in and friend of ours, Mo from Bluesky and Twitter knows that guy. And I was like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Now
No, I mean, I like that bit. And I liked, like, they're in that jungle and everything. And the guy's like, we really shouldn't go ahead. And he's like, no, we're going to go ahead. I'm Alexander. Of course I'm going to go ahead. And then boom, there's a vampire.
can I just say
Um,
that when that opened, my friend leaned over to me and reminder, I know my friend from working at the World Cultures Museum. He leaned over and he goes, "Are those Romans?" I'm like, "I think they're Greeks."
yeah.
I love it.
Macedonians.
Yeah. 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 I thought so. I thought so.
So I like that bit, but then nothing happened, right?
Right.
Then there was also a mention of how like Thamma himself, which is Nawazuddin's character, he's been like feasting on Englishmen, and that's supposedly why he speaks such good English. And I thought that was hilarious.
It was.
For some reason, I just find it hysterical that there are these like evil spirits, malevolent spirits, whatever, in India that are like vampires or goblins or ghouls or whatever, right? But they've seen, because they're immortal, they've seen conquerors come and go. And the idea that to them, they're just like, oh, yeah, yet another bad guy. I'm going to eat him. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to learn his language too, because I have time. It's not like I have a job. So I'm just going to pick up their
And did,
language.
did he learn the language because he was feasting on them? Is it like,
That's what I
okay,
gathered.
yeah,
Like, because like he was hanging around and he was feasting on them, and then like he just learned and picked it up. Or maybe there's a concept of like osmosis, like
right.
because he's sucking their blood, he's getting some of their knowledge. I don't really know. But that is such a juicy idea, and it's so funny. It's almost like you're a vampire, you're a betal, but you're cultured and you know history and
Yeah,
you're interested in affecting history in some way. That's so entertaining, but they just threw that by the wayside. And if Thamma is so like well educated and he's seen like massive events, like he was there at the dawn of independence, one presumes, and
right.
he's seen all the things happen, right? He's seen the advent of technology, he's seen cars. I wanted to learn more about him, but really all they had Nawaz do was just training at those
Yeah,
whatever handcuff, fire
yeah,
handcuffs, and he was just like ranting and raving like a madman. And I'm like, I know he's intelligent and I know he's
right.
shrewd and he's manipulative. Why don't you show me that? You're just having him speak like a topori.
And why is he the subject name of the film if they're not going to do anything with him? Like, why wasn't this named
Yeah.
Raquel?
Yeah, or they should have just named it something for the love story between them, because his name is Thamma. They only refer to him as Thamma once or twice. The rest of the time they refer to him as his actual name, which is Yakshasan, and Thamma is like
Right.
his title apparently. And I'm like, so it almost feels like people were just brainstorming these ideas and they were like, you know what would be fun? Let's do that. But they didn't think it through. And so there's these moments of hilarity, but then it kind of doesn't go anywhere. For example, I love the fact that her name is Tadaka, because seriously, it's such a terrible name. It really does sound demonic. And she lives in a plane in
By
the jungle.
herself.
Yeah, but like a downed plane.
Yeah,
Why? I love that, but also I don't know why. And there's like a
right.
Walkman in it. Like, what is the backstory
And
of
the
that?
battery in that Walkman still works from at least 20 years ago, probably more
Yes.
like 30. because they made that into kind of a cute moment, but
Yeah.
yeah, do I demand reality from this film franchise? No, but that just seemed like a weird, I don't know. That just seemed weird to
Yeah.
me.
And then Ayushman, I feel the way you do. Like I used to adore Ayushman. Like, back in like Vicky Donor and when he started doing this movies, I'm like Andhadhan and everything. And then I don't know, at some point I got tired of him.
Well, I
And I
like
don't know
that.
why I did.
I was trying to explain him to my friend, and
Mm.
we did see we the movie where he plays half of a gay couple.
Oh,
Whose
yes,
name I'm
the one with
forgetting.
Bhumi Pednekar. Badhai do? Badhai ho.
No,
I know which one. Oh, no, no, no. The one with Bhumi Pednekar is the one
Shub-
with Rajkumar Rao.
right, Shubmangal.
Shubh Mangal Zada Savdhan?
Yeah, yeah. That one.
Yes.
So, but I was like, yeah, he play, he is mocked for playing this same character over and over again of like
Like a do-gooder.
do-gooder who saves some group from a social ill. And I appreciate that he's not doing that here. I've
Yeah,
really liked him as an actor in almost everything I've seen him in. This might actually be my least favorite of his
same.
performances. I didn't think he was bad, and there were moments I thought he was good. I actually kind of preferred him after becoming a vampire rather than
Yeah,
before.
same.
But I don't know. I was kind of unconvinced by him, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, and I don't know if you feel the same way or not, but he, I just felt like he's too old to play this guy
Oh,
who is
yeah.
like besotted with this girl that he meets in the jungle that saves him. Because, and I don't mean that just like in an ageist way, he just seemed tired. you know like he just seemed like, how many times are we going to see you like obsessing over some young girl and romancing her, which to be fair, I know the cons still do that, so don't come for me, people. Like, I know that the cons do it and we bash them for it constantly, but like, you're like this grown man in like your late 40s or whatever, and you're married and you have two children. Like, I'm kind of tired of this. Like, I'm
Yeah.
tired of you just romancing girls. And like so many of the other Bollywood movies, I just found it a little bit crazy that this woman is so besotted with him that she's willing to leave her people, her tribe, and put herself in enormous danger for this person who does not even belong to the same species. Like, you want to save him from the bear and you want to protect him, fine, I appreciate that, you're a good person,
Yeah.
congratulations, Taraka. But you're going to fall in love with him to the extent that you're going to leave your people and put yourself in the way of harm. I just don't buy that. It was just, I don't know, am I a cynic? Maybe I'm a cynic.
No, I mean
It was tired.
they spent a lot of time on that love story and it didn't really cohere
Yeah.
very well. Also, what if
Mm.
what if Ayushman's role had been a woman and maybe they were just friends?
Yeah.
That could have been fine, but I guess we have to have a dude in our movie.
Yeah.
Um, I don't
I
know.
did like the fact that she was the one who was protecting him, though.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed that.
yeah.
And I liked all of her transformations into a vampire with the fangs out and everything. That was enjoyable, like, especially with her long hair. She really did look very, like, vampiric and stuff like that. And I like the colors they put her in. The extremely skimpy cholis, okay, that was quite a costume
That
choice.
just felt so like, okay, really?
It was so over sexualized. I was
Like your
like,
movie, you don't have
got
enough
it.
faith in your movie that,
No.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
her
was a
outfit
little bit embarrassed for
choices.
them by that. I was
Yeah.
like, this feels very, I don't mean cheap as in unethical or shocking. I just mean like, you're better than this.
Yeah, it was just kind of tacky and weird. And it's like, really, like, what is the problem with giving her like an actual like outfit? It was just kind of strange to me. Like, okay. And then also the item songs. So I mean, that was definitely like an intentional choice, right? Because the item songs were also hideous with
Yeah,
Malaika Arora and Nora Fatehi. And then I was like, whose brilliant idea was it to give Nora Fatehi a speaking role? Why?
too bad. Yeah, that was not good. That was not good.
Also, the problem with watching movies in theaters, like, I know it's a lot of fun, but like, also, I couldn't fast forward these horrible songs with their horrible
Right.
choreography. I saw this movie 2 days ago. I already couldn't tell you the name of the songs or the
Oh no,
tunes.
no.
They were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't understand, like, you're part of the Maddock franchise. You have the inbuilt fan base that likes Maddock. Ayushmann Khurrana is a very popular actor.
Yes.
Rashmika Mandanna, I am not a fan, but I understand that many people like her, and her star very much is rising in Bollywood at the moment. I mean, the woman has some really prime projects she's doing, and she's riding the high of like Animal being the big hit that it was and stuff.
Right.
You have a really good backer, and you have an interesting concept of vampires, which, as far as I know, I can't think of any other vampire movie that was not B grade or C grade, right? Like, which was like a big name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why more effort was not put into the story and the editing and the direction, because everything felt like not enough effort and not enough preparation happened, and all the shoehorning. So I just feel like there was so much good stuff that they could have built on, and it didn't reach its potential. What are your thoughts on Rashmika?
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to talk about her, and I also want to
Mm,
talk about the big fight scene at one point.
mm,
But um, I don't think I've seen her before because I haven't seen Animal and I haven't seen any of her Southern Indian projects.
mm.
I liked her a lot. I thought she was really good. I thought her role was the most interesting in the film. Um, I she was giving good face. You know what I mean? She was doing a good like I'm a little bit bewildered. I'm also on guard. I'm concerned. I'm in a setting that I don't understand. Like a lot,
Mm.
there was a lot going on her face to me, and
I
I
liked how
thought it was
literal
appropriate.
she was too.
Yeah, yeah. So I thought she was quite good. Um, can I imagine other people could do it also? Probably, but I have no complaints about her in this role. You?
Her dialogue delivery has always bothered me because I've
Ah,
seen some of her southern movies. I can't remember the name right now, but like I've seen two films of hers. One of which she starred with Vijay Deverakonda, and
mm,
she's fine. I don't think she's a good actor. She does the same thing
mm.
every single time, and she has this really weird dialogue delivery where she talks but she doesn't move her lips. So it's like you hear the words like because of the dubbing or whatever, but her mouth doesn't move. And I'm like,
That's
girl,
funny.
intonate. Like I don't understand what you're saying. Um, and she comes across as very expressionless to me. So I just don't like her. I have not seen Animal either. But like, yeah, based on some of the southern stuff I've seen her in, I'm just like very underwhelmed by her. And I'm like, if this is, like a rising star, then I have no hopes. But she was fine, I thought. I did enjoy her in some of the scenes where she basically has to have the fangs come out,
Yeah,
and when she is like, but again, I felt like there was no chemistry between these two people. They didn't seem
really.
to have any kind of spark. Like they were trying, but it
Yeah,
wasn't there.
no,
And it just made the love story aspect of it so much more unbelievable, because the whole point of this movie really is the love story.
right,
Unlike a movie like Bhedia, where the love
right.
story is like incidental. But here, the whole reason that this man is now a target and eventually has to become a vampire also is because of this kind of like forbidden love.
Yeah,
And so then you got to sell me the love story, right? And like they just didn't.
no.
Um, I did like the comedic scenes where every time, like his reactions,
Yeah.
every time he would realize and he's like, oh my God, I'm a vampire. Like when he's freaking out, I found all of that extremely enjoyable. And in my theater also, because it was a weeknight that I saw it. And so there were like a few people in the rows ahead of us, and they were all giggling at the same times that I was
Okay,
giggling.
nice.
So Ayushman's reactions were definitely getting a lot of laughter. And then some of the things that Paresh Rawal would say was also making people laugh. Like he was funny too.
Mhm.
And then I kind of enjoyed the bickering
Yeah,
between the mom and the dad, where the
yeah.
mom is just so like over him. And the scene that got the most laughter, because this is a quintessential Indian thing, is when she's sleeping and Paresh Rawal keeps disturbing her. And at one point, she's like, my parents had gotten me a rishta of like a lawyer, and I bet his wife must be sleeping really nicely right now. Indian mothers do this. They will be in their freaking 70s and they will bring up some really amazing rishta that their parents got them when they were in their 20s, and they were so beautiful and they were the cynosure of all eyes. And instead, they picked this person that they eventually married. And it's hysterical. It's like, wow, that was half a century ago, Ma. So everyone laughed when she said that. And it was just very like such a typical dialogue. So I really liked their
Fun.
fighting. That was enjoyable. And I love that Ayushmann crashed his own like funeral prayer meet. That was really
That was
funny
cute.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were some good moments. The one thing I did not believe is that this conservative Bania family that he belongs to allows this woman to stay in their house when they're not married, and presumably she's sleeping in the same bedroom. I was like, that is so not
I
believable.
had questions about that as well.
Yeah, but given the larger questions of this movie, I was like, it's fine, whatever. I'm not gonna go into it, you know. Um, so were you expecting big things from Nawaz and you were disappointed, or
Yes, yeah.
same?
Now, I say that having read nothing about it. I didn't even watch the trailer before I bought my ticket. So I
Same.
my hopes were completely uninformed other than by his past work. Uh,
Mm,
I think he's a great choice for a cackling, ridiculous villain,
maniacal.
but there was simultaneously not enough and too much.
Yeah,
And every time we came back to him, I would think, okay, maybe this time. Like, show me why
yeah.
you cast him. And I
I
never
know.
got it. And I think it's mostly the writing. I did find
Yeah,
him over the top, but I often like over the top. So it's not, maybe it was just a slight tweak or something. Maybe the English was throwing me somehow. I don't know. I just wanted more, and like at the end when he's kind of hovering over and watching one of the fights. I thought that was kind of funny because yeah, you're not putting
yeah,
Fawaz in a big fight scene for very long, probably.
yeah,
So that was funny to me. I can see why you'd want him in the horror comedy universe,
yeah.
but I just wanted more for him or something. And it just didn't work. And I'm sorry I can't be more specific because I can't put my finger on it, but I just kept thinking,
I think for me, it was just the fact that this movie is ostensibly about him. It's named for his title,
right. And then,
but I don't know anything about this dude. Like the whole this dude is willing to be imprisoned for 100 years because he insists on killing humans, and everyone else in his clan is much more self-righteous, and they're like, no, we're not going to kill humans for no reason. That's terrible, and like we're vampires, but we have ethics. That's fine. But they never explained why he feels so strongly about it. I mean, you feel so strongly about like wanton death and destruction that you're willing to be like imprisoned for 100 years and you're not even sorry about it. Okay, at least tell me what you think. Like,
yeah,
do you think that humans are despicable? Like, is it that you're just like speciesist or something?
right.
I have no idea what this man's motivations were. He
And
was just,
especially because the others, if I understood right, have decided not to eat humans because they've seen how poisonous human blood is.
yes,
So they don't want to consume it anymore. So it's not like just it's unethical, it's their own self-preservation for
right.
which they do not drink human blood anymore. And yet he's like, ah.
Yeah. And there's also a religious angle that they explained, right? Where they said that the goddess created them because
Right.
they needed like a fight. So they have multiple reasons not to do that. If you have a villain who's going to fight against all of those social norms they have, at least tell me why.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of like, because he's Thamma. Meh, what you gonna do? Thamma feels this way. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of they really wrote a cardboard character and gave it to someone like
Yeah.
Nawaz, and it's like he was just wasted. He was
Yeah.
enjoyable every time he would cackle and dance around and stuff. I kind of like had a good time, but I mean, I'm never going to be like that was too much Nawaz. But I wish that there was too much Nawaz in a way that made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was very unhappy to see Rukt Beej again because that guy's scary and I don't want to
yeah,
see him anymore. I'm like, that might be one of the things that stops me from seeing any more of these because I find him very scary.
yeah. He was there for a very short point of time, though.
He was, and he looked to be, it's like, I feel like last time we saw him, he was on fire or he's like
Yeah,
molten lava or whatever. Now he's kind of ashy or something.
yeah,
I don't know. So I get it, but I don't
yeah,
want it.
yeah. I kind of enjoyed in the beginning, although I still don't understand the concept, but like I enjoyed the Bhedia part where he's fighting with Ayushmann.
Yeah.
Like that was enjoyable. I like their fight on the terrace and
I thought
everything. That
that
was
was well
enjoyable.
done. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I really enjoyed Ayushmann in An Action Hero a couple years ago, so I was kind of intrigued to see that version, a little bit more of that version of him again. Definitely not man saves town from social ill.
yeah,
Um, and then how they ended that with the Badia being like, "Oh God, what's happening?" Kind of like thing, which again, making that character, I think, more compelling and more
Yeah.
like easy to invest emotions in or whatever. But yeah, that was kind of my favorite part with Ayushmann. And I was like, oh, but that depended on somebody else also being there. And I was like,
Yeah.
they're just an interesting pair to put together, those two actors, because kind of on paper they have some things in common, but they
They're
give very
so
different vibes
different.
to me somehow.
Yeah.
And I don't really
I
see either of them doing each other's big roles particularly, but
yeah.
yeah, as peers, they're kind of an interesting pairing.
Yeah, there's a goofiness to Varun that I enjoy,
Yeah, me too.
and there's an earnestness to Ayushmann that I typically do enjoy, but I feel like he's almost too earnest for this. I almost want someone more
Oh,
camp.
for
I
this
don't think
universe.
Ayushmann can do camp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he tries to do camp, he annoys me. Like, have you seen Dream Girl? Please don't. It's terrible.
I started it once, but I didn't get very far.
Good, you didn't finish it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's very bad. So I just feel like Ayushmann should just don't do camp. You're not that good at it. Varun is phenomenal at camp because there's just something naturally campy about him. Maybe it's the fact that he's David Dhawan's
I was
son. I
gonna
don't
say
know. I was
apple and
like,
the tree.
it's the rakt, you know. But and also like Varun and Abhishek Banerjee are so good together.
Okay.
Like there's such a cute friendship,
Yeah.
but this is just like two flavors. But again, this is the shoehorning of the
Yeah.
like. I wouldn't be surprised if Kriti Sanon had showed up, or Shraddha Kapoor had showed up. It's just
Yeah.
too much.
And as the universe gets bigger and bigger, there's going to be more of
Mm,
these pairings, I suspect, even if
yeah.
they are just sort of quick in passing or whatever. And it's going to be, keeping a handle on the casting during all this
Mm,
will be interesting. My friend was reading in, online about all the films that are scheduled to come, and he's like, "Good
mm,
Lord."
yeah.
So he had seen Stree, and we had watched Bedia about this time last year, and he was like, should I watch Stree too?" I'm like, "Yeah, you like horror movies, so yeah, go ahead and
Mm,
watch it." And he asked about Mungia, and I said, I think the strength of Mungia, at least as I remember it, is that's a really interesting, very local piece of
mhm.
folklore that they did something fun with for a whole movie. So sure. Um,
Yeah. And the mother and son, that really
yeah,
worked
that's
for
true.
me.
That
That
was
was
nice
so
too.
sweet.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, and then I had a silly question, but like it's in a shopping mall that they have the fight, and then the
Yeah,
werewolf he changes back into Varun Dhawan, and then he's holding those signs because he's
yeah.
nude or whatever. I'm like, you're in a shopping mall. Just put on anything, put on
That
a dress. I
that
don't
did
care
not make
what you
sense
put
to
on.
me either.
Yeah, and he just like is like crawling away, and I'm like,
Yeah, they're literally in a clothing store, and
yeah,
they could have. So if you want to do the joke of him being naked with the signs, put them in the electronics department or
yeah,
the home goods department or something like it.
exactly.
That didn't make any sense to me either.
So yeah, it felt very like not thought out well enough. And so yeah, it was just there was so much they could have done with it. And a lot of the jokes, honestly, like a lot of the writing, a lot of the
Mhm.
jokes were basically just like memes.
Mm,
It was just like memes and WhatsApp forwards. Like we've heard those WhatsApp forwards, we've seen those memes, and it was just
yeah.
kind of like, oh, okay.
Eh.
So yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. Do you have like so of these kind of critters, what is your favorite kind of critter in general?
Oh, my favorite
Like
kind of
there's
critter.
ghosts, ghouls,
Right.
goblins, vampires,
I probably
werewolves.
I probably and again, if we've discussed this in some of our past episodes of horror, I don't remember what I said, but I was just this film was making me think about Bulbul
Oh
because I
yes,
think
so
that's
good.
my favorite
So
Indian
good.
horror or scary film, even though it's not very scary, but it's dealing with the supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But also the psychological horror of being a
right. Is
woman.
intense, right. So
Yeah.
I think based on that, I'm gonna say witch type thing, whatever she
Mm.
counts as.
Yeah. Like an avenging angel, witchy
Mhm,
person.
mhm.
Nice.
You?
Okay. I think I like ghosts.
I was expecting you to say werewolf, but
I do like werewolves also, but I
Mhm.
haven't read as much werewolf stuff. But ghost
Sure.
stuff, I always have. I have a book on my dining table right now about a Ouija board and like a woman who goes to like a abandoned place, of course, and then she encounters all these sort of spirits and she starts communicating. I was like, that sounds like a wonderful cozy bedtime read.
This is kind of a or a related category, but I do love a fake psychic, and then the person
Oh,
who debunks the fake psychic. I love
yeah.
that. So
I
like,
love it when there's like a fake psychic and someone debunks them, but it turns out even though the psychic was fake, there was actually supernatural stuff happening.
oh,
I read a book like that too. It was
nice.
awesome. There was a detective. It was like set in like medieval times in Italy, and there's these two English sisters who are psychics, and they go to all of these like
Mhm.
Florentine families, and they're
Uh-huh.
like whatever, and they're basically fleecing them.
Sure.
Right, like they're thieves. That's
Yeah.
actually what they do. They do
Yeah.
these seances or whatever, but they pocket like stuff, and and this detective person comes because these women are kind of like the police in London is actually suspicious of them, so that's why he's been sent to Italy and whatnot. But it turns out that there's actually supernatural stuff happening, and now the detective and these sisters have to like get together to try to figure out what's going on, because one of
Fun.
the fake psychic sisters is now in danger of the ghost. I was like, this book is amazing. It is fabulous. Someone's going
Nice.
to die. There's going to be a mountain of bodies. Gives me so much joy, Beth.
Nice.
Okay. So you would say your favorite Bollywood horror film of all time is Bulbul?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I think my favorite Bollywood horror film of all time is Tumbad. Scary as heck.
Yeah, too scary for me, but very, very good. And I recommend it
It
to people.
Yeah, it is probably the scariest horror film I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of horror
Wow.
movies. Yeah, because it's just those scenes in the pit with Hastar.
Awful. Awful.
I've
Yeah.
never seen anything that terrifying. I actually thought of Hastar. Wow, not a statement I ever thought I would just say on a random afternoon. But when they have that, like, is it a vampire deity that they
Yeah.
have in this movie? And
Yeah.
he's holding a thing in front of his
Yeah.
hands or
Yeah.
whatever. It reminded me so much of Hastar and like how they go into the cave.
I do have to say that I really love that we had a sort of temple layer type
The
of thing
dance.
made, yeah, and then made in the shape of a big mouth with fangs.
Yeah.
That's very Ramsey 70s,
Yes.
60s to me. And I was like, all right, you got me
Yeah.
there.
That's
And every
excellent.
time we came back to it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and the dance was amazing too. With
Mhm.
like they kept multiplying because of the blood
Mhm. The
results in a
breath.
demon. That was so
Mhm.
good. So
Mhm.
you haven't seen Kantara, right?
Correct.
So Kantara, even if you're not interested in watching the whole movie, because it is scary to be fair, but there's a dance in it, which because that's the whole point of the
Right.
movie is that there's these people. I think it's called Yakshagan. I'm not sure, but they go from village to village in rural Karnataka, and they do the ceremonial dance, whatever. So beautifully choreographed. It just looks amazing. So if you just even look on YouTube and just type like Kantara dance or something,
Okay. I'll look for it.
really worth seeing. And I think that might be like actual dancers that
Nice.
they hired.
Nice.
So it reminded me a little bit of that. And I love all those like rural tribal dances because
Yeah.
they're all very they're cool, but they're also kind of eerie and spooky.
Yeah.
Um, and it's best not to ask too many questions, I feel like.
Sure.
Just like, this is great. I love the spectacle. I'm not going to ask you any detailed questions. I don't need to know too much.
No.
Okay. Is there any other lasting thoughts you have about this movie? Would you recommend people watch it?
If you are on the fence, I think I would tell you don't bother, or at least wait until you can stream it, and then you could
Mm,
sort of, honestly, you could watch the second half
yeah.
and ignore the first half and just get someone to tell you the plot of the first half or read it on Wikipedia or whatever. But I feel mean-spirited saying that. I don't think this is awful or anything. It just didn't really grab me. My friend liked it more than I did, I think, for
Oh,
example. So
okay.
I'm not I yeah, I think it's I was about to say I think its heart is in the right place such that a film like this, has heart. But I do think that they really kind of crapped out on the script, and that's
Yeah, they
frustrating.
did.
And I do not wish to reward such behavior.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
my opinion matters that much. You know what I mean? But I'm kind of like, I mean, people who want to see this horror universe are going to watch it anyway. And I think you and I kind of fell into that at least up until now, right? The next one that comes out, I'm probably going to be much more on the fence and I'll wait and see what people have to say about it or
Yeah.
whatever, unless it shows up here and I really want to just go to the movies. Like as we've talked about, I've not been to an Indian film in the theater all year. So
No, you saw
it,
Sayara.
not, oh, that's right, I did. That's right.
Oh,
No,
but
but
we saw it on
streaming,
streaming.
streaming, right. Yeah. So that for to be late October and I haven't seen a single thing like that, so that was nice to go to the movies, even if if I was disappointed in what I saw, I still liked going to the movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'd say don't bother really.
Yeah, my feelings are much the same. I wouldn't necessarily dissuade people from watching this movie, but I probably would dissuade them from watching it in the theater. I mean, it wasn't even that like awesome to
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
point
have like
that,
a lot of dazzle to it to that the big screen
yeah.
is super important. I think it would still be fun on TV. The
And
fun that's in the theater
typically,
has to be on TV.
yeah, and typically horror is great in movie theaters.
Sure.
Like horror is made for like that viewing experience, but this wasn't like grand enough
Right.
for that. So I would say like Beth, wait until it comes on streaming and then forward the absolutely atrocious songs in this film, the horrible
Yeah,
dances.
they're done.
Except for that, the temple dance, that one I liked, the
Right.
vampire temple dance. Other than that, I would say skip it. Also, I was walking in hoping for some tantric madness. And I know that vampires and tantrics are completely different species, but I was hoping for some of that from Nawaz. And I feel like I was kind of like
Yeah.
cheated on that.
Yeah.
So instead, I will just cheer myself up by watching Kuka's song from Trimurti, because
Mhm.
he is my favorite tantric of all time. And then there is, of course, Amrish Puri from Nagina and everything. Yeah, from all the tantrics he's ever played, including Indiana Jones. So, yeah, I think that is our lasting thoughts on this movie. If you have seen it, please let us know what you think. What are your feelings on Nawaz? Do you think he was well utilized or not? How do you feel about Ayushmann? Do you think we're being kind of harsh when we like, do you think I'm being harsh when I say that he feels kind of like aged out of this kind of like love story? Just tell us what you think, and then tell us how you would rank Maddock Horror Universe films until now, and if you're excited for the next one. I think the next one, Beth, is going to be called Shakti Shalini, and
Right.
it's a female protagonist, and I think Aneet Padda is going to be in it, the Sayara person. But I think initially they were talking about Kiara Advani being in it. But yeah, like you, this is only the second 2025 release I've seen. And like you, I saw Sayara on streaming because by the time my theater had gotten rid of it pretty early.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to all the retro films for us. And if anyone enjoyed that little Alexander bit at the beginning, then please go and watch Sikandar, starring our beloved Prithviraj Kapoor, where
Right.
where the movie is absolutely not historically accurate at all, but it is very enjoyable, and you will know why we greet each other with Jupiter ki shubhkamnaएं. And then we will see you next week. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Brush your fangs.